Welcome to this episode of the Bullets broadcast. It is the off season now, and so I'm doing something that I love to do, and that is talk to people from the Bullets and members. And today I am lucky enough to be joined by Errol Cenita, who is the creative director of the Brisbane Silver Bullets. Thanks for joining me today, Errol.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks for having me on podcast. Is it
You,
podcast? Yeah.
it is a podcast, yeah, but we
Yeah.
have video on podcasts these days. It's all changing. So it's great to have you here. When did your relationship with the Bullets start? Because I'm not sure it even started with you working for them, did it?
Um, Relationship as a contractor, you mean? Like,
Yeah, well, did you have a relationship before that? Did you follow the Bullets or anything?
okay, so I'm actually from Western Australia. So I followed Perth Wildcats. So I'm a
Ah,
big Perth Wildcats fan, and it was 90s, and so I moved from Perth to Brisbane. So which is around that time, it was actually two of the best teams. Well, we were winning. Well, I'll say we as back then. We were winning a lot. And then obviously, Brisbane is basically Brisbane and Perth were actually one of the top two teams, I would say, back in the days, the heavy hitters. So I just went from one to another. So that's how it started with me. And we used to hate the Brisbane Bullets and the Brisbane Bears because we were Eagles. So it's been a while now. What were we in AFL? I can't even remember anymore. But I was following AFL in basketball, so from Perth to Brisbane.
yeah, beautiful. And when you came over to Brisbane, were you already a dancer and a choreographer?
No, I was still very young. So I think I was only around 13. So obviously
Yep.
I I originally come from the islands, so that's Philippine Islands. And I was dancing back then as well, but it wasn't professional, it was just like, yeah, hobby. So yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And so you picked that up while you were in Brisbane. And so how how did it all start with the Bullets?
All right, so I was the creative director of a professional dance studio at Industry One. Um, Let me just open my door for a second. Quick, boo boo, hurry up! I'm on the podcast.
He's got he's he's
Okay,
got
this is one
dogs.
of them. The other one's
We
going
knew
to
it was
bark
going
in
to
a second,
happen.
so
Yeah.
apologies. So so I
Yay.
was
We get to meet your dogs as well. That's very cute.
yeah, I was the creative director of our dance studio, Industry One. And back in the days, the Brisbane Bullets used to get a lot of special acts at that time. So I'm pretty sure at that time, the main entertainment, or for the cheerleaders in a way, the main entertainment was managed and choreographed by um, Kim Skelton. I think that's it.
And tell us who Kim is
Um,
for those of us who don't know. Yeah. And she
oh,
was married to,
uh, Derek Rocker, D-Rock in the building. Yeah, so at that time, yes.
yeah, so D-Rock's wife used to do all of that. Yeah.
Yes, that's right, before me. So, fun fact, my ex-partner also used to, this is crazy, right? My ex-partner used to dance for her as a cheerleader. So, yeah, so
There you
anyway,
go.
back to I know, right? So back to the question. They used to get a lot of the guest entertainers, and they got dancers somehow. And that was, I think at that time it was more of our hip hop dancers, which is, break dancers and hip hop, not so much the cheerleading side. So we would do it every now and then to they got us almost every game as guests. Um, but that was back in 96, 97, I think. Don't quote me on that, but I think that's right, yeah. Before they went they went away from the NBL, meaning the disappearance.
Yeah, yeah. Disappearance from the league altogether, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And so when the Bullets came back into the league, they just called you back up again to contract you in again?
Yeah, it was actually
Or was that an application process?
well, because we were doing a lot of the gigs back then, they just hit me up. So here's another fun fact. So CJ Bruton, we all know CJ, big bullets, and that's my other dog. Hold on a sec. Sandy, come on, inside. Quick.
Yeah, yeah.
You're gonna
As
meet
in
all the
real dog.
friends. Okay, this is Sunny.
Yep.
He's been a part of the Bullet Squad for a
So we can
while.
ask Errol about his dogs. Oh, look.
He
That
knows
is
the
a
Bullets.
cute dog.
Okay, this Sunny. All right, I gotta do my cuss. Okay, so CJ Bruton actually married to Jess Bruton. Fun fact is Jess and I used to dance together when we were teenagers, right?
There you
Yeah,
go.
crazy. We actually used to compete against each other as well. So and she knows that I do a lot of professional gigs. At that time I was touring a lot of a lot of shows overseas, all around Australia and New Zealand. So it kind of fit in perfectly with, what they were looking for. Um, and so yeah, it was CJ and Jess that kind of brought me in. And but I'm pretty sure they also had other people as well in the lineup and was a process of selection. It's not just I got it straight away, you know what I mean? So I kind of had to send my stuff and
Yeah. And
yeah.
they're not going to just give it to you if you're no good either. It's not like a little nepotism thing because we know people and know people. And I imagine that it's a really niche. I don't know anyone else who has a. I know other people who have professional dance companies, but not professional dance companies that do things like cheerleading.
Yeah, that's for me, I always try my best to be authentic. And the reason being is because when you say the word cheerleading, and we see this quite a lot, not just in the NBL, not gonna point any fingers here, but also in the NBA and all around the world. When you say cheerleading, I'm not going to say that I am a master in the cheerleading genre, creative arts, but I know enough about it. I know the history of it, and I'm talking about the authentic cheerleading. And so what's happened is with that side of cheerleading, a lot of the dance groups, they don't really do cheerleading. You know what I mean? They just dance. So they shouldn't really be called cheerleaders per se. So when you talk about cheerleading as per the word, you have to do some elements of cheerleading, where that's pommies, so that's doing pomps with the arms and stuff like that, and acrobatics. Um, so I really, really try my best to incorporate the authentic style of cheerleading, as well as obviously cheering. Obviously, that's a big part of it, but there's many, many I guess um like entertainers or groups that does not go by that, and I think it's really important. So
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like you're passionate. That's why you're there. You know what you're doing.
thank
And
you.
how many dancers do you have as a part of your, what do you call it? Troop, crew, company?
Yeah, we kind of call it half half. We go cheer and dance squad because that's exactly what we are. We're a cheer and dance
Yep,
squad. Yeah, yeah.
yep. And do
Look,
you
it
have, I'll ask you, it's a double question. So I'll say, how many work for the Bullets and then how many do you have outside of that? Like, do you have other dancers or do those, tell me a bit more about that and how it works.
Okay, so this is a bit of a tricky question for me because I've kind of switched into a smaller company now. Basically, I used to run a small to medium sized company. Sorry, a medium sized company, and where I had like a lot of staff. I even had full-time staff, and I had a studio, a proper studio and everything. So, when I transitioned, I went through a part of my life where I kind of had to take away from such craziness. Like my schedule was so insane. Like to be honest, that was like I had to get a PA. You know what I mean? So it would be like radio station in this. in the morning, then I have to fly to Sydney, then I have to do this and TV. It was kind of crazy. So I had to step away from that. At that time, I did have a lot of access to many dancers, and but now it's basically who is just contracted for the season, if that makes sense. Excuse me.
Oh, that's great. So you predominant there for the Bullets. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, and how many dances does that entail in total?
Okay, so it changes every year. Well, not every year, but every now and then. So this last couple of seasons, we only have six dancers on the court, and we have a male dancer, and then we also have broom. But as a whole, we have a collective of, I would say, roughly around 16. Yeah, 16 dancers all up, with some
Yeah,
backups
that's
as
a
well.
lot,
Yeah,
isn't it? That's amazing. Yeah, of course, because some people can't make some things and injuries happen, especially if you're associated with bullets, apparently. But hopefully we've gone past that problem. Um, that's so cool now. And with 16 dancers, are those dancers only performing at the Bullets games, or do they do other things? What else do they do?
yeah. So a lot of our dancers are top elite, so they're all really, really busy. Not all of them are full-time professional dancers. I mean, sorry, they are, but not full-time. So we have some dancers who are a flight steward, you know what I mean? So she's flying, stewardess, I should say. She's flying, everywhere. So that's Zafia. I think she works for Qantas. And we have people for that works for the NDIS. At one point, we actually had the captain and vice captain, Savannah and Paige. They work for NDIS, and their schedule's crazy. You know what I mean? So it's all different.
Wow.
A few of them are full-time students. So this is the thing. Like dancers is probably at the bottom pit when it comes down to, like, I'm just gonna be honest, payment and rewards. But they hustle the most because
Yeah, I could
they
imagine.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
learning full time. They still keeping up the development. You got to keep fit at the same time. You got to get a side job. You know what I mean? Obviously, not everybody's like this, but the majority of them are. So these guys are always hustling. They're either doing sometimes they're doing suit work at Dream World. You know what I mean? So doing theater and
Yeah.
whatnot. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, wow. And they're young too, so that's the thing of the young people as well, is get as many jobs as you can and keep yourself going. That's amazing.
that's
So
it.
in that, because these everyone's hustling and everyone's doing a whole bunch of things, how much time does it take to create, say, one dance, and then we'll look at how many dances you do for a game, and so what I'm really asking is what goes into that 1 minute that we see?
Yeah, so with creative arts, it's actually no matter how long you've been doing it, it's kind of like one of those things where you it's really hit and miss, So I guess the best way for me to explain it is to go through it, like if that's okay. So I would choose a song, and choosing the song could be in a minute, or it could actually take me sometimes 1 hour, to be honest, because I try to
Yeah.
get because it's only like a short routine, right, for the timeout, especially. So I try my best to give him at least two songs. Like a lot of the dance groups around NBL, they just stick with one song. I try to give him two songs to just change it up a little bit. Or I will pick one song and I'll remix it myself. A lot of the stuff I remix myself. So choosing the song could take, as quick as 5 to 1 hour sometimes, to then I have to mix it. So again, that's another. It could take as quick as 20 minutes to 1 hour. Mind you, I have to always pick songs that obviously are family friendly. So sometimes, yeah, that can get a
Yeah.
bit tricky.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a very diverse audience. Yeah, really diverse audience because you
it
want it to
is.
pack a punch. We've got little kids up to, the oldies.
Yeah, I mean, I think the demographic of the Bullets is still around I mean, don't quote me on this, but the fan base is still around the 90s era. So the 90s fans are still one of the most loyal, you know what I mean? But obviously it's great that we're
Oh,
getting a lot more of the newer generation, come to the games. And obviously the kids, as basketball as a whole, is actually getting bigger now compared to, wow, back then, like, in the 90s here in Brisbane. Like, actually, no, back then it was actually massive. It kind of died off a bit. But
it
yeah,
was
no, it's
massive. It was the
yeah,
Jordan era. Jordan
yeah,
era, because I was around in the 90s. That's when basketball was massive around the whole world, especially in Australia, and then it dipped
yeah.
off again. About the
That's
same
it.
time where the NBL took a dive.
Yeah, yeah. It's also around the same time when they took off basketball as a free TV as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, made a massive difference. Yeah, with
yeah,
any luck, they said there's a possible signing for next season, that they're going to do a free TV deal and they need it. It's so important for the sport. It's
yeah.
ridiculous that we don't have one. But anyway, so you get your
Oh
song and
yeah.
you mix it, and then how long does it then? You've got to create a routine, and then you've got to
Yeah,
teach it.
yeah, yeah. So I choreographed the mix. So for that I would say minimum of half an hour. So yeah. The only reason why I say minimum of half an hour is because this is just not like a dance class where so for example, if I was to teach a dance class on Monday, all I gotta do is pick a song, choreograph to it, and then teach it. Easy, right? So, with
Well, not for
with
me, for you maybe.
but with the squad,
I'm like, no,
uh
it would take me 5 days to even think about it.
with the Brisbane Bullets cheer squad, I actually have to obviously choreograph it. I have to come up with the formations because, when I get to the rehearsals, I can't be going, I actually have an app and basically I'm like a coach. I actually coach basketball, by the way. So, um, I'm like a coach where if I show the dancers the app, they can actually see where they're going in advance. And I often do this, right? So some trainings they'll learn a brand new routine and that gets really chaotic because their brains are going, let me learn the choreography. Now I got to learn the formations as well. Now I got to learn that routine and another routine. I try my best to only introduce one new routine for every game, excluding at the start of the season. So we have the intro show and then we have the brand new routines. But every game, there's always usually one brand new routine at the first half of the season anyway. So yeah,
That's loads of fun.
yeah.
And so, how long does it take for the dancers to get it right? So you're doing your teaching bit. How quickly does a dancer? Because for me, it's like 6 months, and I might be able to figure it out, but I'm
Oh,
not a dancer. So I assume young professional dancers would have it a lot quicker than me.
yeah. So our rehearsals go from 1 hour and a half to 2 hours. At the start of the season, we have it 2 hours because there's a lot more to learn. As the season progresses, it goes to an hour and a half, and then towards the end, it goes to an hour, unless we then get introduced or get a request from the Bullets saying, "Hey, we have a theme. We have to cater to, event cinemas, so we have to create a show that's involving this track or special themes for the game during like um, there's so many themes I can't even think of one. Can you give me one right now of a theme that
Yeah,
we do?
yeah. As in like the Pride round or
Yeah,
like
yeah,
things
yeah.
like that? Is that what you're talking about? Like the rounds where they have different
Yeah,
and the
that's it.
blackout round and things
Blackout
like
rounds,
that?
Australia Day, Boxing Day, and all that thing. Christmas, you obviously want to
Yeah.
create a theme for that. Yeah, so that basically they have so it could be as quick as they have half an hour or 1 hour to learn the choreography, and then the rest goes into formation. So they're professional dancers though. They expected to pick it up. So at auditions, obviously, we look at that on how quick they pick it up. Yeah, pick up choreo.
Yeah. That's amazing. I shouldn't be amazed because they're professionals and they're young and this is what they do. But to me, that's amazing
Yeah,
that they're able to do it so quickly. But it's because it's that brain body memory, isn't it?
yeah,
It's pretty
that's
full
it.
on, and theirs is in tip top condition. So how on a game day? So everyone knows what they're doing. Everyone's got their things down. How early do you all get to the game? So if we've got like a 6 p.m. game, what time do you all get there?
Yeah, so I get there a little bit earlier than them because I'm a part of the production team. So um we get there, the rest of the dancers they get there probably because we do meet and greets. So for example, if our game's at 6:30, they have to be there by the meet and greets at 5:30, right? And then
Yep,
they have our on-court rehearsals as well. Roughly around an hour 45. They're there before tip off.
yep,
They're not active during that an hour and 45. I'll just run you through the things that they do. They get to the
yeah,
venue, they quickly get changed, then they go on, they do their on-court rehearsals. Then this year we were very lucky that they actually they've given us a buffet access, so they get to eat. They get to eat hot food,
yay,
amazing food. And then they get ready again. They rest a little bit, obviously. So, and then they go to meet and greet. They rest a little bit. I mean, there's nothing that they don't just sit around, but there's a lot of downtime for that an hour 45. You know what I mean? So, they do meet and greet for about
yeah,
half an hour. Yeah.
yeah. There you go. And so, tell me more about the production team. What is that? Is that like the whole entertainment crew people? How many people go into putting entertainment on for us in the background?
Yeah, so we obviously have the MCs. We have Adam and Johnny. Um we have
Yep.
Joe, who is in charge of the whole thing as the operations. Um
And I think because Brisbane, I called out in the podcast and I said, Bullets social media, I want more behind the scenes. And I think we saw her she's a part of another contracting company and she runs kind of the entertainment side. They
who's
did a
this? Sorry?
video on her, which was awesome. Is this Joe who you're talking about?
I said Joe Yuba. Um
Yeah,
that it's
I think that's who it was.
it's a guy. Are you talking about a girl or a
Oh
guy?
no, this was a woman.
No,
Yeah, no, I'm talking about a
George.
girl. So it was a totally different
Joe.
person. She was saying she runs the entertainment on the day. So she was, I'm shocking with names. So she was like, she walks around with a headset on and she just says, these people are doing these things. And they were
Right.
an entertainment company as well. Or, I don't know.
Oh yeah, so we have the media company and they basically run um they they're basically just, the eye and the ears um of all the entertainment during the day. So they communicate with um
Oh,
they communicate with all the MCs, they communicate with me. I've got a headphones, when you see me at the Bullets, you'll see me with that. So then I'll communicate
yeah.
whatever they want with the dancers because there'll be adjustments obviously during the game. You talking about Beth? Is it Beth? There's a few of
I
them,
don't
but
know.
Beth. Uh,
Hopeless with names, shocking with names. And it was like
but
2 weeks ago they put it up, so it was gone. So
that's
who
Kojo.
runs
Koj.
entertainment? Joe?
Yeah, yeah. Well, he's
Right,
a
let's
head
talk
of
about that
operations.
person.
So Joe Uber,
Head of operations.
Yes, yes. So there's a lot that goes down with productions meeting, and that is what obviously liaising with the one of the biggest part obviously is the media, multimedia, and that's this season we is the first year that we had Kojo, so the Kojo Media Company. Um, then obviously they have to liaise with the Brisbane Bullets. Sorry, the the Boondall Entertainment, staffing as well, and they liaise with like the entertainment. So that's Johnny, Adam, then myself and the squad. Usually I'll have one of the Brisbane Bullets Cheer Squad cheerleader. the head cheerleader, to attend as well. And but Joe is in charge of basically putting everything together because there's a lot of involved in regards to, sponsorships, all that side of stuff, which is the commercial side.
Yeah. And so how many staff go into entertainment? If you could just give me a number and just go about how many people go into entertaining us in one game?
Okay, when you say entertain, my voice just went up. When you say
I,
entertainment, what, do you mean the people who are actually on the
I mean
court or
all of
just
those activations,
right?
the whole thing. So, so the people that you're sitting at the production meeting with around entertainment and all the staff. So what we see is we see Adam, we see Johnny, and we see your dancers, and
Yeah.
that's it. And I'm wondering how many people are behind the scenes of that.
Oh, I will include before I answer that, I will include the volunteers. So
Yep.
Yeah, Nicola is a big part of that. She helps us a lot on the floor and does a lot of in between stuff, especially when it comes down to merch and merchandise, all the giveaways and stuff like that, you know. So, um, and to answer your question, Kojo themselves, they're don't quote me on this, but I'm just kind of looking at a production meeting. There could easily be 20 of them at Kojo. You know what I mean? But you're talking about,
There you go.
yeah, there's just so many side of the media that you got, there's people carrying the cameras. There's people that's liaising with, with
Yeah.
me at the, it's like a home base. There's about four of them in there and they're sitting with Joe as well. And then there's the back end guys just looking at all the techie stuff. There's probably another five of them volunteers. There's a lot of volunteers as well. So, man, I don't know, 40 maybe.
Yeah, it's huge, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I've often wondered and just gone and you sit there and you're like, it's a massive production to put a game on. And I think about it because when we were at when we first started at South Bank
Yeah.
and we used to have meetings, members used to go to meetings with the CEO and Lamanis, who was head coach at that time, and he was saying we need to move venues because we're losing money here because it cost us $40,000 just to open the doors.
Yeah,
Like just to lay a court down and open the doors, that cost us
yeah,
$40,000. And that was 8, 9 years ago now. So,
yeah,
everything's gone up in cost. And
exactly.
so that's why I'm always like when they're going to bigger venues, it's like I don't love Boondall because we feel much further away, but I get it. I get why we need to grow and growth is
Yeah,
good. And so, and that's when it's $40,000. That's like, all right, so there's an enormous amount going on that we don't know about. And that's the rows of tables of people who are sitting with screens in front, who are obviously looking after the
yeah,
screens and the broadcast and then all the entertainment and making sure this happens at this time and that's going on there and everyone's in the right place. So it really is a huge production that goes into giving us a really great game day experience.
yeah, totally.
Yeah. And so there's a lot that goes on. How many times do you have to adjust during a game? So you said sometimes things will change. Is that normal, or is that like every now and then something will change, or is it like guaranteed every game something's going to change?
Um, I think for the most part, I do think that it goes by the plan. You know what I mean? But at the
Yep.
same time,
Yep.
we have to be good readers of the fans. So, and that's liaising with everybody, not just us, the cheer squad, the dance squad. Um, for example, gauging on the how we're going with the score to how we feel the building is, feeling, whether it's we're up or down. We're not gonna throw in a timeout that's gonna make him go, yay. You know what I mean? So it might have to be something that triggers their emotions. They kind of go, you know what, we are down, but let's bring the spirit up. Let's not put on that performance by the squad. Let's give them this timeout instead, which is more engaging the crowd. You know what I mean? So And the squad knows that. My squad knows that it's not always going to be. That's why it gets hectic. That's why you see me sometimes running from that end to this end. So this is the thing. This year, well, it's been a while now, but I also do the videography. So I film the squad. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
be prepping this way. So when it changes, I really gotta bolt to the other side because they where they're starting is on the other side, and I'll say because they don't have comps, right? So I have to
Yeah, that's
let them know,
right.
guys,
Yeah.
we're not doing that timeout anymore, so we're gonna go with this. So you will sometimes see that the dancers will go on, and then they'll just go, okay, I'm not supposed to be doing that. It doesn't mean they're not professional. It just means that it got changed last minute, and we just weren't quick enough to let them know.
Yeah. Y- Yeah, yeah. Because how do you dance and jump around and things with something in your ear,
Yeah.
and stay focused while if you got comms in there? So that's amazing. All right, let's jump to Boom because you said that you actually look after Boom as well.
Yeah.
Do you actually choreograph Boom? And is because Boom looks like Boom's got a few moves.
Yeah. Yeah, I get asked this question quite a lot. I sort of partly choreograph Boom, and but so a lot of times our boom would have a specialty in acrobatics and also breakdance. So as much as to be honest, I would have to say, and this is just me saying it, we'd probably have the best mascot and male dancers in the industry because they actually do the routines. Like if you look at that, I mean, there's actually other ones. They're my mates too in the other cities, but they don't do the dancing part. They'll just freestyle and do their thing. But if you look at our show, it's a proper show production where yeah, they might veer off and do their breakdance, but they're always a part of the routine. So, they
Yeah,
have to learn the
absolutely.
routine. Yeah, so I do choreograph a lot of the routines. However, I always give them the freedom to do their own thing. I'll tell the squad, the female dancers to go, all right, guys, I'm gonna be working with Boom and Abloy, which is the male dancer. And so give me a bit of time to work with them because this part over here, they're going to be doing something different. So during that time, I actually allow those guys to do their thing, what they want to do. So yeah, it gives it a bit
Yeah.
different taste.
Absolutely. Gives us what is it? Depth.
Uh-huh.
And so that answers probably the question. So I put it out to our Facebook group, supporters group, and I said, does anyone want to ask you questions? And AJ Purvis wanted to know if you're Boom. And I was like, I have the answer, but I'm going to let Errol answer that.
It,
Are you Boom, Errol?
I've actually um I've actually never ever been Boom. However, I've
Yeah.
performed on the court. The reason being, I think, is because two of our original booms, actually, our original booms, I actually don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but this was the contract before, so I won't say it just in case. But our original boom is Filipino. Um, and me being Filipino, I walk around, they kind of think it's me. And then our second that took over that is also Filipino. And then our latest one. He isn't Filipino, but um, yeah, I think there's a lot of because it's like similarities with the height. You know what I mean? So a lot of people think
Yeah,
it's me.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And a
I
little
have
bit of the
performed on the
build.
court.
Yeah, yeah. And I would have thought, yeah, yeah. Oh, there you go. I would have
Yeah,
thought it was you, except that I see you videoing and Boom's there. I'm like, they're in the same place at the same time. So it can't be Boom. It's like, for me, it's just literal my eyes, unless you can be seriously in two places at once, you can't
I,
possibly be
I
Boom.
can't throw it down. I can still
So
break
that's the
dance.
only reason
I
I
can
knew.
I can still do flips. Maybe
I
not as good as I
believe you.
used to, but yeah, I get a bit sore after it
Yeah.
though, so I try not to.
Yeah, I believe you would be great in there, but it's only that I've literally had eyes on both Boom and you at the same time. So I'm like,
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it can't be because You can't be in a suit and in your own skin at the same time. All right, Julie Saunders. I think it's Gerard and Julie Saunders, but I think this was Julie who asked the question. Can you ask if we had a swap of personnel inside Boom towards the end of the season? I'm sure there was a different person in there for 3 games.
Well, whoever that person is, you're on point. That is the case. So, as much as we try our best to keep it the same Boom for the entire season, we're dealing with, entertainers who also gets booked out, like, they have to travel overseas, they travel interstate. And a lot of the times, those 3 games were actually booked even before we start our season, before we even do our NBL draws. So that, they can't really get
Yeah,
out of it.
yeah, yeah.
So I had to I had to get I'm forced to get other boom, and sometimes the other
Another
boom, the
Boom,
replacement
yeah.
booms are much taller, so you can actually tell.
It was the leg length. We had a whole discussion about it in the group. We're like, those legs are
Yeah,
way too long for the Boom that we've seen. And they looked a
yeah,
little bit more like possibly female legs than the ones that we were used to. But that's cool. And Julie also wanted to congratulate you all on an awesome season. Together with Johnny and Adam, they keep us all up even when the energy is down. And so that's a massive kudos to you all. And I'll say some more at the end about that because it is really true. The vibe of the Brisbane crowd is a really good vibe,
it
and
is.
you're a big part of that. Okay, so Tanya Denning has asked a question. It would be good to hear a bit about the schedule of the squad and the commitments required. It would also to be good to hear whether what other jobs or careers the squad members have. So we've heard what people do if they're not professional dancers. How about in answering that, you tell us about the schedule and the commitment. So if I become a bullets dancer, or if Tanya's daughter becomes a bullets dancer, how many hours a week does she need to be able to have? And if one of your members is a professional dancer, what else do they do as a professional dancer?
Okay, so for the ones, I'm gonna answer the last one first, which is if they're professional dancers. So I kind of touched a bit about this at the start. So they do other gigs. So some of them, they might pick up a cruise contract, so they might be away, you know what I mean, for their entire time that they're not doing the squad. A lot of them, they're doing other dance gigs. Some of them on theater shows. Some of them teach, like myself. They teach dance. Some of them who are professional dancers, they might be coaches. Um, Yeah, so they do a bunch of different stuff. If there are professional dancers that's linked to dance, they might be just choreographing theater shows. Yeah, the other question is, what's his schedule like? Is that it?
Yeah, like the schedule and the time commitment, I think, is what she's leaning towards there.
Yeah. So I mean, we are not like the NBA where, like their squad is up to like 40 dancers or 30 dancers on their thing, and then they have is it 82 games? How many games do they have? 82 games?
So many, too
Some,
many. That's
something
why I
like
don't
that.
watch it. I'm like, I don't have that much time.
But even if they only did the what is it? The half of it, that's still a lot of home games if you think about it. You know what I mean? So whereas for us, it's actually
Yep.
only 7 home games. That's not a lot, right? So meaning you are not your commitment is not that big as long as you can make the compulsory rehearsals, which doesn't happen every week. Um, it happens. We only rehearse once a week if there's a game on that week. So it's very little commitment in that sense. That's why when I do pick the squad, I need to make sure that it is dancers that can pick up choreography because the turnaround is so quick. So because like this season we had some games, some weeks where we had two games, a lot, you know. That's the reason why we actually, in my brain during the holidays was actually like I was like, so because obviously you still got to do other things like organize um the behind the scenes as well that I haven't even mentioned here. So there's a lot that goes on into preparation. So there's not really that much commitment. So you just as long as you make sure you can rock up to the rehearsals. So in that sense, the our rehearsals are on a Monday, and if there's no game on that week, then they can do other things on that Monday. You know what I mean? So, but obviously I get the roster done well and truly in advance, so they can make appointments. So it's not that much.
There you go. Yeah. And so it's not much of a time commitment, but there is a lot of, which is why you have to select your dance as well. Because I imagine if, like, they have to be very, very good at their craft to be able to show up for 2 hour and a half, 2 hour rehearsal
Yeah,
and then put the show on. That's amazing. It's a real testament to the professionalism of those dancers.
yeah.
And so what are the other things that you were talking about that you haven't touched on yet about the behind the scenes production?
Yeah, so I just gotta make sure, every game I give them a schedule, a run sheet, because obviously each game is different times. It's not like the same time all the time. I gotta make sure I do that scheduling. Gotta make sure I look after the costumes as well. I gotta make sure I'm liaising with the media team on the music. Make sure they get it well and truly in advance. Also. There might be some activations that I need to know in advance. So Johnny would hit me up with that. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of stuff that goes in here um, even before I get there on game day. Sometimes it gets given to me just before the game because like things change, things gets added up. So sometimes we've had one one game where we've prepared a event cinema activation timeout, but this happens to everybody, but you know Joe changed that into a different song, and I turned around to my squad and I said, hey, we're not going to be doing that song, can we do this song instead? And they're like, obviously they've learned it before already, and they were like, yeah, let's do it. So I've got a great squad. They're like, yeah, they're professionals, they just got it done. So I guess all the
Yeah.
behind the
Yeah.
scenes, with bullets as well, like for example, I know this is only a small, but it can be a big thing as well when you're organizing everything else. So the bullets gives the dancers complimentary tickets for their guest. So I got to organize that. It's a lot of things to be honest. That's the reason why I'm like
Yeah.
like my brain, I'm walking around during the game like head down. It's not because I'm not enjoying it. There's just a lot of things to do. So
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot, and there's things in your ears, and you've got to be thinking about what you're doing and then adapting and knowing what everyone else is doing as well. It's awesome. It's
yeah.
very awesome. Um, okay, next question is Beck Costello. Can you ask when the auditions are and where they advertise them?
Okay, so the additions a question is not going to be the same question for every year, for every season, because we go through like a mix up of audition process. So for example, one year we'll do a full auditions where we're auditioning in person, like we did last season, and it was a great turnout. And that means that everybody can rock up. Obviously, they send us their resume, the videos and stuff like that. Then the next year, I might only do a an online auditions, which means you can only send your video, which probably means I'm not really looking for that many dancers that season. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
then the third one would be I'm not even gonna be holding auditions. I might just say if you're interested in auditioning, send us your resume and your dance videos, blah blah blah, because you can never go wrong with having backups. You know what I mean? Just in case.
Yeah.
So Um, to answer to that, if we are gonna audition the proper in-person audition, it would happen around. We start around October, so sorry, yeah, October. Um, Auditions will be first week of September at the latest. You know what I mean? I think I have it the month before that. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, around that time frame. I'm having mind blank. What's before September?
And where do you advertise that? So, yeah, August.
August.
August
August,
is before
September will be
September.
the
See,
audition
look,
process.
between the
Yeah.
two of us, we'll figure it out. Yeah, and so, that's advertised on your socials, or is there a special dance network that people have to plug into to know these things?
Oh yeah. So it's just usually just advertised on my Instagram, also Facebook. Every now and then I'll put it on Star Now. But I don't really go over and above that because even the ones, even the platform that we have, we get so much already, and we don't want like 200 people, If we are looking for 30 dancers, of course, but it's just such a small group of selections that we can able to do,
Yeah,
and it's just like even like
and so many
last year,
roll over into the
yeah,
next season. So, yeah,
and they're all so good. Like I always feel bad, like if only we had the budget to take on at least 30 like the NBA, do we would take on 30 and then have a squad of 40 girls or 50 girls as the backups. But we're much smaller market, the NBL, we're getting there compared to the NBA, so yeah, we can't really promote it too much.
yeah, yeah. I don't think we'll ever truly compete with the NBA, but we'll be a good second cousin. Um, and so what are your handles for social? I follow you on Insta.
Yeah, I think it's just both at
Is
Brisbane
it at?
Silver Bullets.
Yeah, I do believe it is. Um, it's not coming up. Brisbane Silver Bullets. Yes, it is. Brisbane Silver Bullets. There you go. So
Right.
you do your
Yep,
at and Brisbane Silver Bullets.
that's
It would
it.
be really great. I don't even know if you're tagged on the Brisbane Bullets website, but it would be good to have those channels where people can find you all, so we can really build that sense of community. So Brisbane Silver Bullets is where you want to follow them. I follow them and I love it because you see what
Thank
everyone's
you.
doing in the off season as well. You see other
Yeah,
little dancers. You see when people's birthdays are. It's just
yeah, that's
lovely.
it.
It's lovely to see that they're real people. Okay, Matthew Lee has asked the question: will the Silver Bullets, will they being the Bullets games, have Silver Bullets merch next season? They are the only reason my youngest daughter wants a membership, so she can see the Silver Bullets. How cool's that?
Oh, that's so cute. Yeah, I mean, you just never know. Like there's been a few times that we've had parents approach us and they've actually replicated the Silver Bullets
Oh, they
um
did it themselves.
costume. I mean, like, hey, it's fine as long as they're not reselling it because it's got the Brisbane Bullets logo, obviously. It's not just Silver Bullets, but um by the way, I will have to say this. I will have to clarify that the dancers are called Brisbane Bullets Cheer Squad. But they're on the Brisbane Silver Bullets and Group
Brisbane
Australia
Bullets.
Cheer Squad. That is their
Yep,
official name.
great.
So, as
Cheer
of
Squad.
this year, or last season, I should say.
Yep, yep, fantastic. And so the answer is not yet, but wouldn't it be great if they looked at that? Because I mean, I don't think we need adult sizes in the
Hey, you never
Silver
know.
Bullets uniforms, but my goodness, it would be so cute. Well, I won't be buying that one. Maybe some
I'm
of the
o-
others will.
I'm only laughing
I'm
because
not against it.
one of the dads said, "Oh, where do I get this so that my wife can wear it?"
Well, there you go. That's whatever floats your
Hey, we're
boat,
not gonna go
really.
there
Go
again.
for it, I say. We're not gonna go there. We're gonna move straight on from that one. And so on the back of that one, I have got questions and ideas now because I'm like, I wonder if there's chances because you get these competitions where you get to meet some of the players and have lunch with players and get signed jerseys of the players, but there's nothing that is actually
Right.
directly linked to the Silver Bullets or the Brisbane Bullets cheer squad.
Yeah.
And so, can you ask for that this season? Can you ask them to run a competition where somebody, because these kids would love to be able to meet the Silver Bullets, they don't care about Casey Prather. We do, but they don't. They're like, I want to meet Paige or
Yeah.
who they want to meet the dancers and they want to be a
Yeah.
part of that experience. So I wonder if that's something that we can get going for next season.
Yeah, hey, you know what? Totally. Because I mean, we always get hit up on our socials, and we do have some really, really loyal fans of the squad as well, on top of Brisbane Bullets, and they always hit us up, and they say always nice things about the squad and Boom and everybody else, and even the MCs. So we used to be a part of the media day in that regard, so where they got a chance to meet the dancers. So I think the more you fans request Brisbane Bullets to do it, maybe they'll throw us in there again. You know what I mean? So that would be up to the Brisbane
Yeah.
Bullets themselves. Because my time with the Bullets, so with the squad, I should say, is very, very limited. You know what I mean? So an extra activity like that is an external event that we have to organize without sounding all too corporate business like, but it has to kind of go with the planning, and Brisbane Bullets get so busy. I think that's what it comes down to is they have so much in their hands as well. So throwing us in the mix just means organizing another event. But hey, if you guys requested enough, they might bring us back to be a part of it. So yeah.
Yeah, even on the signing days, if they ever bring back our signing days, they did it once this season, but we used to have them more often. Even if on the games where they do signings, if the Silver Bullets can be there for that and kids can actually get onto the court and meet the Silver Bullets, just adding it on to something that's already there, maybe that's something that they could do to really build that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
I
so it
mean,
doesn't
the
have to be
squad would love that.
another extra event. Yeah, yeah. I think the kids would love it too. It's so much fun when you see them out in the crowd dancing with the kids. It's the cutest thing ever. So what do you do in the off season? You're a busy man.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not as busy as I used to, but I'm still very busy. Like I said before, I used to run my own dance company and also dance agency, but now, I do have my own dance company still, but on a smaller scale. So I teach for a lot of the, dance studios. Am I allowed to plug? Am I allowed to plug? Yeah, I can
Mm,
plug. Okay,
please do. Yes.
yeah,
Mm.
so I teach for a company, um, called Premier Dance Academy, and that's in Milton and Clayfield, and they actually specialize in ballet and jazz and the classical styles. So I'm the one that look after the hip hop. And there's other people as well, but I'm the main hip hop dance teacher. I did teach jazz there before as well. That was fun. So they have the venue at Milton and Clayfield. I also teach for a studio called 3L at Underwood. Now they've kind of also unofficially sponsored us in a way that they give us discounts for our rehearsals. So they give us a discount when that's where we train at 3L Dance Studio. And I also teach for a company called the Creative the Scene Creative Studios. The Scene Creative Studios. Yeah, so they're all over the Australia, but the one that I teach at is in Wollongabba. So oh, sorry, I didn't
Fantastic.
answer the
So it
entire
sounds
thing.
like you're busy.
Yeah, I also do many other things. So I do videography, photography, video editing. I do mixing. I do creative director. I do master classes. I judge um competitions all over the place, not just Brisbane, other states and sometimes overseas. I get to travel overseas to judge. Last time I went to China during the just before COVID actually. So that was an interesting time. And I got to judge a massive competition there. It was crazy actually. So, and I also do, the other side as well, which is um mentoring entrepreneurs in the creative arts field. So,
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. It's such a niche um, industry that to have someone like yourself who's actually been working in it for such a long time. I think you'd be a wealth of knowledge, and I think people would really appreciate that. That'd be amazing to have access to you there. And so, what can we expect next season from the team? I was going to say
ah,
Brisbane Silver Bullets, but it's Brisbane Bullets Cheer
cheer
Squad.
squad. Yeah, yeah. Look, every year is always going to be different and exciting for us because there's always new things that's been, brought forward to us. So, for example, Joe will say, "Hey, this is what's going to happen now during the halftime entertainment. Sorry, during game day, we're going to introduce A, B, C, and D. So it's going to be another, I guess another creative outlet for us. Brisbane Bullets themselves, even not coming from me, they're always trying their best to get the crowd involved. You know what I mean? They're always trying to read the crowd from a bigger scale. So there's no doubt that they're going to bring something forward again to me in the off season and say, "Hey, we're going to introduce this." Hey, they might even listen to this video and watch it and get some tips off you, So and take it on board. So you just never
Yay.
know. Obviously, new dancers. There's always going to be a couple of new dancers. I'm not going to quote. I'm not going to officially say it yet, but I think we might at least have an online audition this season, but we're not going to have a physical audition. So,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So there might be a couple of spots opening. Do you know what I
yeah.
really loved as well? I love everything that happens on game days, but I really loved seeing those little cute dancers come out and dance with the big squad. It was like with the professional dancers, you had little kids come out in their little t-shirts
Yeah.
from the dance studios and dance. That was
Yeah.
always very cute, but I don't know how much goes into making that happen.
Yeah, we actually had a lot of requests from we back in the days we had a squad, an official squad called the Junior Bullets, and they didn't dance every week. Sorry, every game, but every now and then they'll pop up, and they were quite popular. So hey, you never know. You never know. Joe might hit me up and go, "Hey, let's get these little kids back." You know what I mean? So do you know what? I honestly
Yeah,
think,
I
and
think it's
I'm not here to make it to sound like we're making excuses, but we've just been hit up by so much changes, with COVID and everything that, we're just only now the venue now we're only starting to get into the role of things. You know what I mean? So not trying to make
yeah.
excuses for anyone, but when COVID did hit us, it's kind of like, whoa, how do we even do this?
Yeah, massive.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, that's right. You can't really run a business from online then, can you? Because there was no one in venues anywhere. And
yeah,
so, any professionals in that show up and do some form of entertainment, it's like, no, you can't do that. So everyone had
mm,
to pivot, especially you guys. All
yeah,
I had to do was pivot to online, which I can do, but your industry can't do that. So it would have taken a massive hit. And yeah, the new venue's huge for all of us. But the one big thing that we've been saying was we feel like we've lost that connection to the club and to the team and just to the Bullets itself. We feel like with the venue being bigger, it's not that the venue's bigger, it's that we're further away from the action. So
right,
we're just
yeah,
asking now, it's like, how do you reach us more? How can you get us engaged more because we feel like we're further away? And so that's what we'll be looking forward to seeing what everyone comes up with next
yeah,
season to really help us to just feel connected more. But they stopped a whole bunch of things. They stopped the
uh,
after. We would have at least 2 to 3 after game signing sessions. We would
right,
have we had members could show up to training sessions, and they did one, and it was a bit of a nightmare. But and most of us didn't even bother. But so there's just things we'd love to see a bit more of this
Mm.
season. So that's for us, from our perspective, sitting in our seats. It's like, how do we do that? How do we get that connection again? And it's one of the reasons that I put my hand up for this podcast, because I want people
Right.
at the game now to see you running like an athlete that you are, from place to place to place, doing all the things. It's like, oh, I know what he's doing now, so I won't
Yeah.
try and hold Errol up and say good day, because I know that his activation's probably just changed and he's doing the thing and he's got the
Yeah.
camera. And I'd also like to, Errol and I have had a bit of a chat about a couple of the dancers that we might have a conversation with as well, because I just really want to build our connection to the Bullets as well. So it's been so great to have you on, to get to know you, so that everyone can watch this and that they know that you're not just a bunch of strangers turning up and throwing pom-poms around, that there's a lot that goes into it, and you're all incredible professionals, and there's so much that goes into our entertainment on that day. So I really
Mm.
appreciate you and all that you and all of your team do, because geez, it'd be boring. It'd be just as boring without you as it would be without us. So if you turned up and there were no fans in the stand, it would be very boring for you, and it would be very boring for us if we turned up and you weren't there either.
Yeah.
So it's this whole thing that goes into the whole day. So thank you for all that you
Yeah.
do.
Oh, thank you so much. Appreciate everybody. Like I would have to say, even though we've had such a tough season, you know, we made some noise. I'm talking about we as a collective, the fans, because I'm still a fan. I love basketball and I love Bullets ever since I moved here from Perth. So I would say that the fans have definitely turned it up, and as well. I think, especially from a bigger venue. I love Boondle and I don't love Boondle. I love Boondle because we are now able to roam around free as us as Brisbane Cheer Squad. Before On top of the COVID rules, a lot of people. This is one thing I wanted to say was we've had a few comments like you guys don't get involved enough with the actual game per se. Um, there's a lot that's changed, when COVID happened. Like we're not allowed to go to certain areas, you know what I mean? Like so we can only cheer from where we are, you know what I mean? But Boondle has helped that a little bit in regards to being able to now freely walk around, you know what I mean, and get the crowd involved. We're still not allowed to go to certain areas, like say near the other team's bench, or even I think our team as well, because there's just so much going on. There's like cameras going on. We don't want anyone, to be, you know, we don't want to get in the way of people. So, but yeah, back to what I was
Yeah.
saying, like the fans have been really, really amazing. Like even though like how much more is it now? Is it 8,000 now? 8,000 for the seats compared to 5,000?
I think we can get up to 10 at Boondale.
Yeah,
Our averages this season have gone up a little. So we've definitely moved up, but I,
yeah,
I can't give you the averages, but they were bigger than
yeah.
Nissan, so it was worth it. But I think I remember you saying at Nissan there was no spot for the dancers to be.
No,
They had to just, when they weren't doing their things, they had to just stand in the tunnel and just
they're in the
stand back,
tunnel.
and just
Yeah,
they
basically.
had no, yeah,
And then some
yeah,
people will
yeah,
complain like,
yeah. And
Where are
so
you
they,
guys?" I'm like, "We can't. We actually cannot even go like 2 meters next to you." Well, it's the rule. It's the rule. No one can do anything about it.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So, yeah, yeah, yeah. And so these are things, I mean, we'll be at Boondall for a while now until our new
yeah.
purpose-built stadium is built. But
Mm,
so yeah, it's just about building that connection. But it was actually Bogues who said it, Andrew Bogut, who said Brisbane is the sleeping giant of the sleeping lion
hey,
of the NBL. And he said when they came to Nissan last year, I remember when he came and he and his wife came to the game, and he said, Sydney beat Brisbane by like 50 points. And he goes, and the crowd walked out smiling. He's like, everyone just loves the game. Everyone just, like, we lose and people don't
yeah,
walk out, angry. We're just like, well, we had a
yeah,
great night. We had a great night and we had our night out and everything was fun. A little bit different this season. We're not quite as we're we're a bit done this season with the team's performance,
yeah.
but that certainly does not reflect um, on our game day experience as such. So we still love the game and we show up because we love the game. And the fact that we're still smiling has an enormous amount to do with you guys. The fact that we
Thank you.
feel connected to Johnny and to Adam and to yourself and the dancers. It's like when Johnny wasn't there, when he was on the TV show, I was like,
Yeah.
I was talking to Adam about it because we had access to Adam because I would walk past him on the
Yeah.
way out at Nissan and I'd be like, there's nothing wrong with Nashi. No, I do not
Yeah.
have a bad word to say about him
Yeah. Yeah.
other than he's not Johnny. Like we've built a family now, we've built a
Yeah.
community now, and it's like bringing the cousin in. I don't know this guy, and so yeah, it's you're
Cousin.
such a you yeah, it's like who is this dude? And he's like telling us to cheer, and we're like, you're not Johnny. Who are you? Who are you to tell us what to do? We don't know you. So it really is when they say Bullets family, we really see it as a family from the fans' point of view,
Yeah.
and you're all a massive part of that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Because the players change, the teams change. God, we know the coaches change, and but you don't, and Adam doesn't, and Johnny doesn't, and so it's huge. So big thanks to you
Yeah.
all.
Those guys are amazing. Adam's like the best. And fun fact about Johnny and I is I think I'm one of Johnny's first um Aussie mates in the dance industry. And I will tell you this, that his energy when we used to tour, when we tour like for shows, we sometimes would drive for hours. Everyone would be like really hype at the start, like yeah, because it's exciting. But at the end of the night or on the way home, everyone's beat. Johnny is as loud as anything.
Yeah, I
He
believe
does
you.
not have
I believe
a
you.
it's just as crazy. So that's just Johnny. He's not trying to put on anything. That's who he is.
Yeah, yeah. And he's a born entertainer, like you all
Yeah.
are, and it's such a gift to us all. So thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate you taking the time, and I look forward to seeing you next season in person again.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tracy. Thanks, everybody.